Well, I certainly wouldn't have expected it 10 years ago, or even when Daryl Gates was police chief.
Yeah, sure, but these are different times, you know. I mean, it really feels like LA has turned a corner with this year's games.
Okay, well, let's talk about last night. So, these infinite hospitality centers, they're a fairly new concept to the Olympics, right?
Yeah, they were actually part of the Conventus initiative that was started back in 2018 after LA got the Olympic bid.
So, you mean to tell me that it took a decade to get themselves organized? Classic LA.
Right. I mean, but if you really think about it, and I hate to throw LA under the bus here, the state of affairs. I mean, especially the last time the Olympics were held in LA, it was pretty grim. I mean, how many people did Gates lock up? How many kids? Just because they were black and brown?
More like black and blue after the police were done with them.
Well, yeah, I guess.
But I mean, in all seriousness, what changed? I mean, we still have gangs, we still have poverty. Why weren't police knocking down doors and locking everyone up this year?
Well, I mean, I think that there were some questionable arrests, but not to the degree that we saw in the mid '80s and into the 2000s. I really think it has a lot to do with this Conventus campaign. I mean, instead of trying to hide the hood from the rest of the world, the city decided to pull people from within the community to facilitate the games, kind of like volunteer ambassadors to our foreign visitors. It doesn't hurt that as part of the planning for the games, officials decided to actually invest in the recreational infrastructure of the city instead of, building these mega stadiums that would get little use after the games were done. And that's where we were yesterday.
So you're talking about the Rancho Cienega Recreation Center, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, how about that? Let's focus on yesterday's event there. Describe to me what you saw. Well, first of all, how did you find out about the event? Who was there?
Well, I found out about the event through the Conventus app.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to download that app.
Oh, you should, dude. It's totally like a great way of keeping track of events that are taking place throughout the city. I mean, you can see where some of your favorite athletes are practicing or working out, how many people have checked into the hospitality centers. You can even keep track of your own activity. It's pretty great.
Nice, that sounds good. So, how about last night?
Right. Okay. So Rancho Cienega was designated the Mexico and Central America Hospitality Center. They just redesigned and upgraded their track.
Yeah, I saw that the other day. They really outdid themselves. It looks awesome.
Well, it was a perfect place for last night's event because some of the most notable Mexican athletes on the field were there. Guadalupe Gonzalez stopped by. I think she won the silver in Rio for speed walking. Let me get this list out here. I wrote down some names. I'm not too familiar with some of these people, but
So, the athletes from Mexico were actually there, right? Mingling with the West Adams residents?
yeah, right. So most of the athletes there were from track and field. Let's see. I have Eder Sanchez, Pedro Daniel Gomez, and Tadeo Vega. That he was there. I'm not familiar with the rest of these. I'm just kind of reading names here, but hopefully our audience knows who they are. Okay, Horacio Nava, Jose Leiber Ojeda, and Omar Cepeda, along with Margarita Hernandez and Ricardo Ramos. I think the last two were actually